Hello. Right, let's get on with this reflections video of my experiences of Rollout Roll Call at the weekend. Obviously I only did the Saturday and Sunday. I didn't go on the Friday. Set off from home. I live at Leamington Spa, which is not just south of Coventry, and don't live far from the M40, so it was left home just after about 8 o'clock, and then it was about quick blast down the M40, M25, M4, and I rolled up at the Radisson Blu Hotel about 9:15. Parts of the car park around the back, came through the back entrance, coming to the foyer, and then you're greeted with a sight like this. Yeah, so I had to wait around for a while until the show actually opened at 10 o'clock. There was a few people milling about. I noticed that Few Adams was walking around, and I saw Graham the Collector 75. And there's a couple of other people. But it was. There wasn't a huge amount of people there for the grand opening on the Saturday. But anyway, 10 o'clock rolled up, people queued up, got their pass, and obviously on the back it's got all your itinerary for the various panels that was going on over the weekend. And I went into the main dealer room, and as I said in my toy video, I just went around the hall a couple of times to figure out where everything was, and then I started buying stuff, mostly Titans returns. And and over the course of the day, it was a case of going around, talking to people that I knew. I had a chat with Tim Brown, or Omega Supreme. He was there, and he was on a table with a guy called Paul Goodenough, and he's a writer for comics and fiction, and he had a comic book on his stall. And he said to him, he said I was doing a talk on the Sunday, him and Tim, and he'd be giving the comics away. And I said, well, now how much are they to buy? And he says, oh, no, they're nothing. So he insisted on giving me a free comic. So I asked him to sign it for me. To Jason, the imagination is a gift. Well, he wrote that. I mean, I couldn't think of what he could put on it, so he wrote that himself. Anyway, so here's a picture of the man himself. Yeah, so he signed it. Other people I spoke to, my good friend James Lai at Me and Max Love Toys, and his buddies on the stall next door, Dave and Dave's Corner, and I was hanging around with them for the best part of the weekend. Later on in the sort of early in the morning, after I'd done my initial lot of shopping, I did manage to have a word with Dave Tree. And I was curious. Obviously, I kind of guessed why he wanted to move from his usual location at the Jury's Inn in Southampton, which is quite a very small, compact place to have a convention. I can understand him wanting to move to a much bigger, more open plan venue. But I was a bit curious as to why he moved the date, because usually he more normally has his convention in October, but now he shifted it from an autumn date in October and shifted it over to this weekend in July. And I thought that had hurt the attendance, because most people will be saving up their money for TF Nation, and he explained to me that when he had planned this year's rollout roll call, it wasn't clear whether, because Auto Assembly was finishing, and it wasn't clear that there would be another convention continuing on from that. So he was taking a bit of a gamble, shall we say, of moving his convention forward a couple of months, and having it in summer, and then making it much bigger, putting it in a location that was much easier to get to, and going hell for leather and just getting as many exclusive deals and artists in as he could get. he really put on a cracking show, and you know, because of reasons, you know, not as many people attended as probably would have liked, and it wasn't exactly heaving, and it's a shame. I wish it could have been better attended, but you know, it was a brilliant show, and I really enjoyed it. So it was really great to talk to Mr. Tree, and you know, hear his side of the story, and obviously, you know, he'll be having his stand at TF Nation like everyone else. Yeah, speaking of stalls, you know, obviously all the big dealers were there. Obviously all the cool stuff had their stall. You had Kapow, you had Indie Man Toys, the Space Bridge, Toy Foo, and no, A1 Toys, and a couple of other guys, and really great, you know, massive, you know, really good selection of stuff on sale. Obviously new stuff and, you know, vintage stuff. You know, Toy Foo's stall was absolutely huge, and they had just about everything from all different lines you could think of. Yeah, so I did really well. You know, bought a lot of stuff, as you saw. Later on in the afternoon, I went into one of the panels. I went to see the you know, Have I Got Few for You panel with Few and Smizno, and sat in that. And after I came out, it was then I managed to approach Graham Waters, the Collector 75, and I stood around and had a good old natter with him. Hello, Graham, seeing as you've joined my channel now as a subscriber, thank you very much. Yeah, and I was you know, thrilled to meet him, because I cite him as one of the contributing influences in me, you know, getting back into Transformers and watching, you know, more, you know, Transformer YouTube reviews on YouTube, and wanting to become a Transformer collector and YouTube reviewer myself. So it's all your fault, I blame you. Yeah, so yeah, that was great. And then obviously, you know, I went back into the dealer room, and it was, you know, just coming down, you know, the dealer room was open till about 6 o'clock. Well, you know, about, you know, 1800 hours, and I was there, you know, till the last minutes, waiting for them to close, and I picked up my last, you know, couple of bits. That was when I picked up Generations Warpath, who I was absolutely thrilled to bits with it. So yeah, it was a great day. Spoke to lots of people. Went back to the room to freshen up for evening meal. I wanted to have a quick look at my toys, but slight problem. As you know, most Transformer toys come in the packaging. You know, the deluxe and Legends figures come in blister packs, and then the bigger figures come in boxes, but they're all held in by these little plastic tie things. Now, I didn't have anything to cut the ties with. I didn't have any scissors or a knife or nail cutters or anything, so I couldn't get the Transformers out of the box. And most people would just rip the packaging off and get to the toy, but me, I like to retain the packaging, so I wanted to keep the packaging, so I didn't want to, you know, destroy it in order to get the toy out. I managed to get you know, Titan's return blaster out of his pack by, you know, sort of pulling on the plastic ties, and they were sort of, you know, biting into my fingers while I was doing it. And he was a good little play. I had a go with Web Diver's Gladion, who was in robot mode when I bought him. He was in his box, and I transformed him into his train mode, and he was an incredibly scary thing to transform, because as I showed you in my my haul video, the entire mass of his body is made up out of transparent plastic, and in robot mode, the hinges for his his shoulders are on these massive great blocks which peg firmly into the body, and then you have to unclip them and bring them round to bring the arms up to the front of the locomotive. And I've been warned that the hinges were a bit brittle on this guy, so I had to be very careful to prise it apart, and it was quite scary to transform, so I won't be playing with that anymore. So yeah, anyway, I got cleaned up and went down for dinner, and I'd agreed to, you know, join the James and Dave and crew to go for a meal, and then we had a bit of a fast to get our evening meal. I'd learnt that there was a Witherspoons at the Terminal 2 of the airport, and I was under the understanding that there was a free shuttle bus that went from the front of the hotel to the airport. When we got to the front of the hotel, there wasn't anybody there, and I asked one of the assistants at the front door, and she said, "Oh no, the shuttle bus isn't free. It's actually £5." And I thought, well, then we thought, well, okay, we're not going to bother with that. So then we said, well, there's this pub down the road called the Pheasant. Let's go there. And James had to go and change out of his shorts into some some slacks, because he had heard rumours that they had a dress code and they didn't let people in with shorts. So we walked down to this pub, the Pheasant, which was just down the road and round the corner, and it's more than just a pub. It's a pub with a fancy restaurant attached to it. And as we approached, there was a bouncer on the door. He took one look at us, all wearing trainers. A couple of us had got baseball caps, and he said, "No, you're not coming in, lads." So we went all that way for nothing. Went back to the foyer of the hotel, and we was hanging around. Then we saw another guy walking in carrying a takeaway bag of food, and we asked him where he got it from. He says, "Oh, it's down in Harlington. There's a row of shops with a chip shop and a Chinese and an Indian." So we then traipsed all the way down there, and it was like 3 times the distance as it was to go to the Pheasant. And we all got some food there. I scoffed mine on the way back. I had some sausage and chips. And when we got back to the hotel, the other guys went back to the room to eat their food in the room, and they decided that they'd had a long day manning the stall, so they were going to turn in for an early night. So then there was me on my own. I went down to the bar and didn't see anybody in the bar that I knew that I wanted to, I could have a quiet drink with in the bar. So then I went back up into my room, watched a couple of videos on YouTube. Noticed we had a very nice sunset on the Saturday night, like this. And then I went to bed about 10:20, and that was that. That was about Saturday. Sunday, I got up fairly early, got up in the morning, and I had a shower, got changed, took most of my stuff down to the car, managed to move my car in the car park closer to the back entrance, and then went for breakfast, and then sat outside in the foyer waiting for 10 o'clock to roll over. And then 10 o'clock went in and had my game plan to get all the Combiner Wars figures. So I basically spent the majority of the remainder of my money in the morning session. I had an interesting time. Again, walking around, chatting to people. I bought some of my KTRT bots with me, and I was showing them to a few people and getting them interested, especially is it Nick at Phantasma Toys. He likes collecting Eastern Exotica, Japanese toys like Power Rangers and Kamen Rider and all that sort of stuff, and he was quite interested in the things that I bought, and I am planning on taking a couple more KTRT bots to TF Nation to show to some more people if they're interested. So there is that about it. Pretty much spent my money. Was going to go into one of the panels with the let me think, which one was it? Yeah, breathing life into Transformers and G.I. Joe animated characters with Chris McLeod, Gary Godson, Morgan Lofton and Neil Ross. Yeah, I went to sitting on that one. And it was as I was going into that I bumped into John Penfold, Mr. John 35. So I had a quick chat with him, and then we went into this panel and sat in the panel, which was good. Then they had the charity auction after that, and I came out, and it was a good show. It's much bigger than previous rollouts I've been to, because I've been to 3 rollout roll calls now. Been to 2 down at Southampton, and obviously went to this one. It wasn't as busy as people would have liked it to have been. There was reasons for that, because some people saving their money up to go to TF Nation, and they couldn't afford to do both events, and other people perhaps might have been otherwise engaged on this particular weekend. So there was a variety of reasons why there wasn't as many people there as could possibly have been there. and it's a shame that it wasn't, you know, better attended. So hopefully, you know, everything went well for Dave Tree and his crew, because they did a fantastic job, and they put on, you know, so many really cool and unique things for people to look at and see. So it was a fantastic weekend. I was, you know, really pleased that I went. It was a fantastic, and obviously some of the highlights for me was getting the chance to meet, you know, Graham the Collector 75 and Mr. John 35, you know, because they're both YouTubers that I enjoy watching and have great respect for, and really would like to have met them, and I have now. So that was great. Yeah, so that was it. Rollout Roll Call done for another year. Hopefully, you know, Rollout will run again next year and be successful than it has been this year. And now it's only a couple of weeks till TF Nation, which I'm doing as well. So if you saw me at Rollout Roll Call and wanted to speak to me and you didn't get the chance, then you know, come up to me at TF Nation, and I will probably hopefully put myself about a bit more at TF Nation. So yeah, it's a great show. Fantastic job there, Mr. Tree, if you're watching. And I will catch you all next time. Ta-da. Oh, I'll put a little gallery at the end of this video, some photographs I took over the weekend. So I bid you adieu and farewell. Ta-da.